In 1949, New Zealand sent one of its most internationally inexperienced but potentially best sides to England. The 15-man squad was selected after a trial match in early 1949. The team was captained by Canterbury batsman Walter Hadlee. Although gaining success against the county sides, Hadlee underperformed as a batsman in the Test series, with moderate returns. However, his previous Test experience provided inspired leadership, mentoring the less experienced players on tour. New Zealand's top batsman Bert Sutcliffe arrived in England at the top of his game. After a slow start and some mediocre scores, he ramped it up, scoring 187 against Surrey, followed by 6 further centuries, including a brilliant 101 in the third Test of the series at Old Trafford. He topped the run scoring with 2,549 runs from 49 innings. Sutcliffe's opening partner for the majority of the tour was Auckland's Verdun Scott. The tall right-hander compiled 1,572 runs on tour, including 400s, and gave New Zealand the stability it needed at the top of the order. Scott combined with Sutcliffe in some memorable opening stands. Top order batsman and vice-captain Merv Wallace began the tour strongly, with 4 centuries in his first 5 games. However, his form dropped off with especially average returns in the Test matches, until the last Test, where he made 2 half-centuries. New Zealand's premier left-hand batsman Martin Donnelly's previous experience touring England and playing county cricket there proved to be invaluable to New Zealand. He scored runs consistently throughout the tour, compiling 2,287 runs, second only to Bert Sutcliffe, at an average of 61.81. Of the 23 first-class centuries he made in his career, the 206 he made at Lord's in the second Test will long be remembered as one of New Zealand's finest Test double hundreds. Donnelly played his last Test and the final Test of the series at the Oval. Canterbury batsman Brun Smith played in 23 of the matches on tour. He amassed a somewhat disappointing 986 runs at an average of 28.17, with 7 50s, but no centuries. The 96 he made in the first Test at Headingley remained his highest score on tour. Future Test captain Reid was only 20 years old when selected for the tour. A multi-talented all-rounder, Reid was selected as the reserve wicketkeeper for the tour, keeping wicket in several matches including the final Test. He played 25 games on tour, scoring 1,328 runs with a high score of 188 versus Cambridge University. Reid made 50 on debut in the third Test of the series at Old Trafford. Wellington wicketkeeper Frank Mooney played in 27 matches on tour, scoring 768 runs with a high score of 102. Behind the stumps, Mooney effected 59 dismissals. He made his Test debut in the first Test of the series at Headingley, scoring 46 at his only turn at bat. This remained his highest Test score. Geoff Rabone had played only 6 first-class matches before being selected for the 1949 New Zealand touring side. Rabone's normal batting style gave solidity to New Zealand's middle order. He played in all 4 Tests of the summer, making 148 runs, but with a highest score of just 39 not out. On the tour as a whole, he made 1,021 runs at an average of 32.93. His bowling proved expensive in English conditions and he took 50 wickets, but at an average of 35.7, and 4 wickets in the Tests. Canterbury's slow left-arm orthodox bowler Tom Burtt was a standout bowler on tour. He snared an outstanding 128 wickets at 22.49 in 27 games. He took 11 5-wicket hauls and 2 10-wicket match hauls. In the Tests, he was New Zealand's leading wicket taker with 17 and made handy runs down the order with a top score of 36 in the 4th Test at the Oval. Aucklander Jack Cowie had made his Test debut 12 years earlier in 1937. Cowie played in 18 games, capturing 59 wickets at 27.13. He played in all 4 Tests on tour, with the last Test at the Oval. being his last Test match. Right-arm medium pacer Harry Cave played in 20 games on the 1949 tour, capturing 39 wickets and scoring 201 runs. Cave made his Test debut at Headingley in the first Test of the series and went on to play in all 4 Tests. The tour report on Wisden described his bowling as always steady and reliable, but on the good batting pitches of the season, he took only 4 wickets from 141 overs in the Tests at an average of 116.25. Auckland right-arm leg break and googly bowler Cecil Burke had a mixed tour. He took 54 wickets at 29.83, including 6 for 23 against Derbyshire, but scored just 171 runs. During the course of the tour, he injured his hand and as a consequence did not play in any of the Tests. John Hayes of Auckland was selected after only 3 first-class games. He took 26 wickets before a groin injury in July ruled him out of the remainder of the tour. Genuinely quick, he was rated as the fastest bowler of the 1949 English season. Right-arm slow-medium bowler Fen Cresswell was plucked from the Marlborough Hawke Cup side to make his first-class debut in the trial match for the 1949 tour, gaining selection at age 33. His bowling remained consistent throughout the tour, and he made his Test debut in the 4th Test at the Oval. Cresswell claimed 62 wickets in 19 games, the second most wickets on tour. After the tour, Cresswell was an original member of the newly formed Central District's 1950 first-class side. Many cricket experts regard New Zealand's tour of England in 1949 as one of the finest New Zealand touring performances. The New Zealanders played 32 matches, including 4 Test matches, losing 1 match versus Oxford University. England's hot and dry summer of 1949 made taking wickets at times difficult for New Zealand's pace bowlers, especially in the Tests. All 4 Test matches, each of 3 days, were high-scoring draws. The first Test was played at Headingley in Leeds, with England winning the toss and electing to bat. England made 372, with Len Hutton and Dennis Compton both making centuries. New Zealand bowlers Tom Burtt and Jack Cowie took 5 for 97 and 5 for 127, respectively. New Zealand responded with 341 all out, Brun Smith a fine 96 and Martin Donnelly 64. They were ably supported by wicketkeeper Frank Mooney with 46. England in their second innings made 267 for 4 declared, with Cyril Washbrook 103 not out and Harry Cave from New Zealand picking up 3 wickets. New Zealand then finished on 195 for 2, with Bert Sutcliffe 82 and Brun Smith once again batting well 54 not out. The crowd streamed in for the second Test at Lord's in London. England once again won the toss and elected to bat, with Dennis Compton making 116 and Trevor Bailey 93 out of England's total of 313 for 9 declared. Tom Burke taking 4 for 102 and Jack Cowie 2 for 64. New Zealand replied with a magnificent 484 all out. There were useful contributions from Bert Sutcliffe, Verdun Scott and Captain Walter Hadlee, but the standout was the maiden Test century scored by Martin Donnelly. This was New Zealand's first double century in Test cricket. Donnelly's innings lasted 366 minutes and included 26 fours. England's second innings finished on the last day at 306 for 5. Top scorers for England were Jack Robertson with 121 and Len Hutton 66. New Zealand bowlers Geoff Rabone 3 for 116 and Tom Burke 2 for 58 were the wicket takers. New Zealand played 6 first-class games between the second and the third Test, which began on July the 23rd, 1949 at Old Trafford, Manchester, Future New Zealand Test captain John Reid made his debut in the third Test. England again won the toss, but chose to field for the first time in the series. Martin Donnelly once again top scored with 75 and was ably supported by John Reid on debut with 50. There was lower order support from Geoff Rabone and Tom Burtt, and New Zealand finished all out for 293. England replied with 440 for 9 declared, Reg Simpson top scoring with 103. There were 70s to Bill Edridge, Leonard Hutton and Trevor Bailey. New Zealand wicketkeeper Frank Mooney effected 4 dismissals in the English innings. New Zealand's slow left-arm orthodox bowler Tom Burtt collected 6 for 162. A sparkling maiden Test century by Bert Sutcliffe highlighted New Zealand's second innings of 348 for 7. Sutcliffe was supported by Martin Donnelly with 80 and Geoff Rabone 38. New Zealand won their first toss of the series and elected to bat, with Bert Sutcliffe once again chiming in with 88 and Verdun Scott 60. Other major contributors in New Zealand's 345 were Vice-Captain Merv Wallace with 55 and Tom Burtt 36. England piled on 482 runs, with Len Hutton making 206 and Bill Edridge 100, putting together a massive 218 run partnership. Reg Simpson contributing 68 in an opening stand of 147 with Hutton. Right-arm slow-medium bowler Fen Cresswell, making his Test debut, claimed 6 for 168. His opening bowling partner Jack Cowie collected the other 4 English wickets. The New Zealand second innings began with Bert Sutcliffe once again providing the spark at the top of the order with 54. He combined well with Merv Wallace, who once again passed 50. But it was John Reid playing in his second Test who stole the show with 93. He had replaced Frank Mooney at wicketkeeper for the last Test. New Zealand declared their second innings closed at 308 for 9 declared. With no time remaining in the Test, the fourth was drawn, along with the series.